Good morning to all. Today topic is dependency injection from CO2. Good morning to all. Today topic is dependency injection from CO2. Dependency injection is a main functionality provided by Spring. Dependency injection is a main functionality is provided by Spring framework. So Spring dependency is a main functionality provided by Spring IOC, inversion of control. Uh, the Spring core is the responsibility for injecting dependencies in Java object. Spring core module is the responsibility for injecting dependencies. This injection can be done in two different ways. One is using constructor and another one is using setter methods. Through either constructor or setter methods. And the dependency injection in Spring also ensures loose coupling of Java classes, also ensures loose coupling of Java classes from each other. So that means the container uh, frees them from object creation and maintenance. So dependency injection in Spring also ensures loose coupling of Java classes from each other. That means the container frees them from object creation and maintenance. And it enables the building of modular is maintainable and more flexible, more scalable. It enables to build the modular, maintainable, and more scalable. There are two types of dependency injection. Then types of dependency injection. There are two types. One is setter dependency injection. And another one is constructor dependency injection. So there are two types of dependency injection. One is setter dependency injection and another one is constructor dependency injection. Setter dependency injection involves setter dependency injection involves injecting the dependency injecting the dependency via setter methods of a class. It injecting the dependency via setter methods of a class. To configure SDI, that means setter dependency injection, @auto wire annotation @auto wire annotation is used along with the setter methods and property of a class. That means data members of a class is set by using the tag called property in the bean configuration class. Setter dependency injection involves injecting the dependency via setter methods. To configure this type of dependency injection, we can use @auto-wired with the setter methods, and the property means the data members can be set by using the tag property in the bean configuration file. And constructor dependency injection involves injecting the constructor dependency injection involves injecting the dependency through constructor. So in this method, the dependency injection can be done by using constructor. To configure this CDI, to configure constructor based dependency injection, the tag constructor -arg is used in the bean configuration file. So these are the two type of dependency injection. So dependency injection means the object is created for others. The values or source can be initialized by using external sources, either XML file or annotation methods. So it is a main functionality provided by Spring inversion of control, and it is responsibility of injecting dependency using either constructor or setter methods. And it also ensures the loose coupling of Java classes from each other. So the facility of loose coupling enables us to build an application is maintainable and more scalable. So let us understand how to implement the dependency injection using a Spring framework in these two methods. One is using setter dependency injection and another one is using constructor dependency injection. So now I'm going to demonstrate a small application in order to understand the concept of dependency injection and also uh, the type of injection, difference between setter dependency injection and constructor dependency injection. We can implement the concept of dependency injection using a console application or web application. So let me start using the web application uh, so that we can create a new dynamic web project. You can use the Eclipse IDE to create a new dynamic web project. How I created in the previous classes. In previous class, I'm using to create Spring MVC framework in web application using annotation method. Now I'm going to implement the dependency injection using a XML configuration, not annotation, so that you can understand how to create Spring MVC using annotation and as well as using XML configurations. So let me create a project using Eclipse, new file, and then choose dynamic web project. Here we can provide the project name. So I given the project name as Spring Dependency Injection. Then my target runtime is Apache Tomcat 8.5, which is installed in my system, and Dynamic Web Module version 3.1. Then I can proceed with next. This is the build path SRC main Java, where we can create a Java classes. Then this is the third step. Here we can enable the checkbox to generate web.xml file. Then we can finish. It will create a dynamic web project for us. Once the project is created, we convert this dynamic web project into a Maven project. So by right click on the project name, then use the option configure, then choose convert to Maven project. Here we can review the group ID, artifact ID, version, and packaging type. If anything you want to modify, you can modify here, or else you can proceed with click on the finish button. Now the project is converted into Maven. There is some changes happen in the directory structure. Form.xml is added. So now the project is a Maven project. Then we can open the form.xml in the editor. This is the right place to create a tag to add dependencies. So I just created tag dependencies. Inside, I can list out all the dependencies which is required to implement a particular concept in Spring Web applications. So already I told the dependency for implementing Spring MVC framework. We can find out the dependency from the website mvnrepository.com. You can go to the website mvnrepository.com. There you can search by using the keyword Spring Web MVC. So then you will get a link to get a dependency for Web MVC. So those details I already shown in the previous session. So you can go to the link Spring Web MVC, and there you can able to see the different versions of Spring Web MVC. There you can choose the version number 5.3.39. So the reason for why I'm choosing 5.3.39 because I'm using the Tomcat server version 8.5. So in that link, you can able to see the latest version 6.1.12, but we have to use 5.3.39. The reason is we are limited in the version which installed in the laptop. So I'm using Tomcat 8.5 so that I can choose the version for Spring Web MVC 5.3.39. So you can follow the procedure which I shown in the previous session. You can copy the dependency from the website MVN repository. You can paste the dependency here. So this is the dependency I already copied from the website. Yeah, and paste it here. So this is the dependency help us to create a Spring MVC in uh, Maven web project. So once the dependency is added, we can save the file form.xml. While saving, we can able to see some progress in the bottom right corner. It will download the required jar files. Uh, Once the download process is completed, we can close the file form.xml. And also we should have a good practice. If any changes made in the form.xml, we must update the project. So next I'm going to update the project which I created by right click on the project name, next Maven, and then choose the option update project. Then enable the checkbox for post update. Click on OK. Now we can see the update progress in bottom right corner. If all the background updating process is completed, then we can start implementation here. So this is the directory structure which I created now. So inside Java resources, I can able to see the build path src main Java. My front-end files will go to the location src main web app. So this is the path src main Java I'm going to use to create all required Java classes and packages. And web app folder can be used to create a views front-end files. So in last session, I created a Spring MVC using an annotation method. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to create a Spring MVC using XML configuration. Then further, I'm going to implement the dependency injection, both the methods, setter dependency injection as well as constructor dependency injection. So now I'm going to do the manual configuration for Spring Framework. So for manual configuration, you can go to the location webf, then navigate to web.inf. There we can able to see the file web.xml. So open the file web.xml. So by default, we can have some code. Next, I'm going to create a servlet tag for servlet. So already I told the dispatcher servlet is a predefined class which is available in the Spring framework. That class helps us to implement the MVC framework in web applications. So now I'm going to configure it manually so that I added the tag servlet. Inside I can add another tag called servlet name. So naming is our choice. So let me name it as a Spring. So I name the servlet as a Spring. Then I'm going to call the servlet class. So since it is a predefined class, how can we find the servlet class? It is available in org.springframework.web.servlet and dot the class name is dispatcher servlet. This is the class name we need to call. So the easiest way I'm going to tell how to find this complete name for the complete path of dispatcher servlet. To find out the path of dispatcher servlet, let me create a small a new Java class in the path src main Java. So temporary class I'm creating. So I'm not using this file anywhere. I just created to identify the complete path of dispatcher servlet. So after creating, I just repress, then it will be arranged, organized properly. So inside I can able to see the file which I created now. So here I'm trying to extend my parent class. Extends, what is the servlet I'm searching? Dispatcher servlet. So if you use control space after giving 2 or 3 letters, then you can able to see the class name dispatcher servlet. If you select it, the import statement is added automatically. This is the complete path of dispatcher servlet, which is available in the Spring framework. So you can copy this and use it in your web.xml file. If you not confident about the complete path of dispatcher servlet, you can follow this method. Just create one Java file in the build path src main Java. Then try to apply the inheritance with the dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet is the parent class. Then you can able to see the package name here. This is the name we have to use it in the manual configuration in web.xml. So now I copied and pasted the path, complete path of dispatcher servlet class. This dispatcher servlet class will initiate the controller. Once the project is deployed, it will initiate the controller. Then this class is not required. I just created to identify the complete path of the dispatcher servlet. So that I'm going to delete this completely. I'm going to delete the default package. So I deleted the just I created to uh, explain how to get the complete path for the class dispatcher servlet. Then we can add one more tag that is called load on startup and provide the default value 1. So once the project is deployed, this will be configured properly. So then we need to map it by using the tag servlet mapping. Inside servlet mapping, you need to provide the name of the servlet. What is the name of the servlet you provided here? Same you need to provide here. So we need to do mapping for the servlet which we created. So servlet name is Spring. Then we need to set URL. We can add another a tag called URL pattern. And I'm going to give the value as slash. It will become a root. Once this mapping is done in web.xml, then we can start creating a controllers. So just I open the file web.xml. By default, I can able to see some set of code on that. So next to welcome file list, I just create a tag for servlet. There I added a tag to assign name for the servlet. I given the name as Spring. So naming is our choice. We can give any name. I given the name as a Spring. Then we need to map the class. Which class help us to dispatch the controller when the project is deployed. So I explain how to get this complete path for dispatcher servlet. If you know, then directly you can type org.springframework.web.servlet.dispatcher servlet. If you cannot able to remember this complete path, you just create one Java class in the location src main Java and try to apply the inheritance with the dispatcher servlet. Then you can able to see get this path in the import statement that you can copy and paste it. Then add the tag load on startup and set the default value 1. Then add a tag servlet mapping inside which servlet you are going to map that servlet name you need to provide. Then you can set the path. So slash will become a root path. Once the project is deployed in URL, you can able to see your project name. By default, it will call this particular servlet. It initiates the Spring framework. Once this was done in web.xml, then you can close the file web.xml. We need to create another XML file here for bean configuration. So what is the name we need to assign for creating XML file, especially for bean configuration? That name should be follow the servlet name. Servlet name is Spring, followed by hyphen. Then servlet is the keyword we need to use. Next, I'm going to create the XML file in the location web.inf where web.xml is available. So I'm right click on the path web inf. Then I'm going to create a new XML file. So I'm using the option other. I can able to search the XML file. Then select XML file here. Proceed with next. Provide the file name. So while assigning a file name, we need to follow the principle. It should start with based on the servlet name which we given here. So what are the that is so Spring is the servlet name I given. So I'm going to assign a file name for the bean configuration file here. Spring hyphen servlet. Suppose your servlet name given as a uh, sample, then the file name of this XML is sample-servlet.xml. Suppose your servlet name is a faculty, then the file name of the XML is faculty-servlet.xml. So what is the name you assigned for the servlet? That name you need to provide here. So start with the servlet name hyphen and servlet.xml. Then finish. Now you can able to see the file spring servlet.xml in the same location where web.xml is available. Then we can start writing the configuration here. So we can add the tag beans. Then we need to add the namespace, XML namespace. So XML NS stands for XML namespace. So namespace is available in the location http colon double slash www.springframework.org slash schema slash beans. So the namespace is available in the link springframework.org inside schemas and then beans. Next, add the prefix XML namespace colon XSI. Add the prefix XSI and set the standard, worldwide standard for XML schema. That is, this is the fixed value we cannot change. HTTP colon double slash. It is available in the location www.w3.org. It is a worldwide standard XML schema for XML file. So www.w3.org slash 2001 slash XML schema instance. So this is the fixed value we cannot change. The standard was defined in the year 2001. So next, add one more prefix XML namespace colon context in order to configure the Spring Web MVC here. So then we can provide the path for context. It is similar to the path which I given here for beans, the same, but in the place of beans, we can provide the path for context. Then we can add the XSI schema locations. So XSI colon, you can able to see the option schema locations. We need to add the locations. So actually it is XSI colon schema location. So we need to give the URL and also the location where it is available. So two things we need to provide. Let me provide the URL for the schema location. What is the URL I used for XML namespace? That is my first URL. It is available in the location. Actually, it is a single value. That's why I am not terminating the double quotes. So it is available in Spring Beans version 3.0 .xst. Then configure another one, that is context. So we can provide the URL, context and its location, XSD file location. So it is, the file name is Spring Context version 3.0 .xst. So like this, we need to add the tag beans. Then what is the error? So there is no error in this. Once the tag bean is added, then we can start implementing the Spring MVC framework as well as the dependency injections beans are created here. So first let me configure the Spring MVC. Then we can start how to use dependency injections in Spring applications. To configure Spring MVC, we need to use this tag context colon component scan. If you try to add, just type 2 or 3 letters, automatically you can able to get this tag context colon component hyphen scan. If you try to add, this is the syntax for context component scan. So it will take the attribute base package. So here you need to provide your package name where you are going to create your controller. That base package name we need to provide. In manual configuration, I created one base package in the name KLU in the previous online class. All the packages are created inside the base package. So like that, I'm going to create one base package in the path src main Java. So go to the build path src main Java, create a new package. I just name the package as KLU and finish. I created a package KLU that I'm going to use as a base package. So I can assign the name of the base package here. So how I given the base package? First, I created a package in the location src main Java and the name KLU. So then I provided the package name here. So the reason is hereafter I'm going to create my all packages related to the implementation, implementing a controller model, whatever it is, that should be placed inside the base package. Now I'm going to create one Java file in the package which I created, KLU. So right click on the package KLU and create a new Java class for controller. I just name the Java file as app controller. Naming is your choice. You can give any name. So I given the file name as app controller. So then I created a Java file. Now I can able to see the Java file app controller in the package KLU. So this package where it is available in src main Java. So you can, by seeing here, it is not properly organized, so that I can right click on the build path src main Java, refresh, it should be organized properly in the directory structure. So now you can able to see the proper organization of the package which I created in the build path src main Java. So I just created a package KLU. In that package, I created a Java file app controller.java. So this is the default code available on the file app controller.java. So and then same in Spring Servlet.xml, I given the base package name as KLU. What is the package name I used to create here that I provided? So this is the minimum requirement, minimum configuration required to implement Spring MVC framework. Then we can test whether it is responding for our request. Once it is responding for our request, then we can start further implementation. So now I'm going to convert this controller as a this Java class as a controller, so that I'm adding the annotation at the rate controller. Inside, I'm going to set the path by using request mapping. I'm setting the root URL for this controller. So here I'm going to return a string with the method name welcome. I just return a string from the method welcome, and the URL configured to the method is slash. Slash means root URL. So once you deployed, you can able to see the message welcome on your browser. So the controller returns model and view, then it will work. But what we are returning here, we are returning a string. String is a response, so that we can add the annotation response body, so that we can able to see the response in the body section of your browser. So once these things are done, then you can start deploying and check whether the Spring MVC framework is configured properly in this particular web application. So I right click on the project name, then I'm going to start deployment, run as run on server, and choose the server which you have in your system. Then finish. Once it is deployed, it will open browser automatically. There you can be able to see see the message welcome. Let me show the browser. Just a minute, let me add the browser window. So I hope you can able to see my browser window. So this is the output I can get after deployment. It opens the URL by default. There I can able to see the message welcome. So that is meaning that we successfully configure the Spring framework in the created web application. Then we can start implementing and understanding the concept of dependency injection. Then we can start implementing the concept of dependency injection. So once recall what I explained in the beginning of the class, uh, dependency injection can be implemented in two different methods. One is using setter dependency injection and another one using constructor dependency injection. So setter dependency injection can be done using the setter method of a class with the help of auto-wired annotation used along with the setter methods, and the properties, in the sense the data members of the class can be initialized by using the tag property in the bean configuration file. In constructor dependency injection, it can be done through the constructors. The tag constructor-arg is used in the bean configuration file uh, to initialize the data members of the class. So now I will show how to implement the dependency injection in these two methods. For implementing a dependency injection, I'm going to create a class in the package KLU. So that I'm going to create a new Java class in the package KLU. By right click on the package KLU, you can create a new Java class. I just name the class as faculty. This is the class I'm going to use to implement the dependency injection using setter methods. So after providing the class name, you can finish. Now you can able to see the class faculty in the same package where I created app controller. So now open the file faculty.java and create some properties. That means data members. Int ID, string name of the faculty, and a string designation. So these are the properties I created for the class faculty. Then I'm going to generate getter and setter for these data members because I'm going to implement the dependency injection using setter methods. So how can we generate getter and setters? That already you know. By right click on the file name in the project explorer, there is an option called source next to build path. By using this option, you can choose the option generate getter and setters. Then you can select all the data members of the class. Then click on generate. It will generate the get and set methods of the particular class, data members for the particular class. And also generate a toString method so that we can able to see the result directly in the browser. Where we are trying to print the object, we can able to see the values of the data members. So repeat the same procedure by right click on the file name faculty.java. Then go to the option source. Then there is an option called generate toString. So click on this option. Make sure all the data members are selected. ID, name, designation. Already it is selected. Then just click on generate. Now you can able to see the method toString. It is overridden at the end of the class. What this method will return, where the object is trying to print directly, it will return the string like this. So wherever the object is converted into string, by default it invokes toString method. This is the string returned by the toString method. Name of the class within a square bracket. What are the members available in the class? ID and its value, name and its value, designation and its value. So then you can save the file faculty.java. Then go to the file appcontroller.java. So in this file, I'm going to create a new service by using get mapping so that I can able to see the result in the browser. So use the class mapping get and then set the path. So I created a method with get mapping called faculty. And this method will return a string. So what is the string it will return? It will return object of the faculty class. So first we need to create object of the faculty class. I'm going to create object of the faculty class here. So this is the file name available from the package KLU. Faculty is the class name. Let me create an object as usual by using new, and the class name is faculty. Object is created in the class app controller. Here I can return the object in the form of string by using a toString method. Let us see what it returns first, then we can understand how we can initialize the data members using bean configuration file. So as of now, I just created an object as usual and initialized properly. This is the service I created additionally in the controller. What is the path to call this particular service? Faculty. In the URL we need to mention. It will return a string. That's why I added the annotation at the rate response body. Then I just return the object f by invoking the method toString. ToString already generated in faculty.java file. So then I'm going to start deployment. Right click on the project, run as run on server, choose Tomcat server, and then finish. Now it will open the browser. So it opens the browser. So this is my output I can get in the browser. It displays by default the welcome message. Here, what is the path I created for the newly created service called faculty in the app.controller file. So here we need to provide the complete path. So what is the path I given? Faculty is the path to call a particular service which we created recently in appcontroller.java file. Then enter. You can able to see the value of the object faculty class. So now it returns the faculty class object in the form of toString. This is the string returned by toString method. So what is the value I'm having for ID? It is 0 and a name is null and a designation is null. So let us go for the dependency injection concept to set the property values in the bean configuration file so that you can understand the difference of creating an object without implementing dependency injection and with implementing dependency injection. So now I'm going to set the properties by using a setter method. First, I'm focusing on the first type of dependency injection, setter dependency injection. You can go to the configuration file, spring-servlet.xml. So in this file, we can add a tag called bean and set ID. We can assign some name as a ID. It should be unique for each and every bean tag. So let me assign the ID as ID1, and this bean is created. This bean is created for the class. Uh, you can add the attribute class equal to what is the class name, the complete path we need to provide. The bean is created for the class faculty. Faculty is available in the package KLU. So the complete path of the class is KLU dot faculty. Now I created a bean for the class faculty. So that bean is created so that I can create an object just like this. I can create an object just like this with the help of @auto wire. So after implementing a bean in the bean configuration file for the class faculty, no need to initialize the object. The dependency injection container frees the objects from object creation and maintenance. So no need to initialize it. Just create the object with the annotation @auto wire. Then the bean configuration file will take care to initialize the object faculty. Then we will try to print the result. Let us see how it returns. Just creating a tag called bean with the ID I assigned as ID1. That bean is created for the class faculty. Where the faculty class is present, it is available in the package KLU. So that I given the class name as KLU.faculty. After that, I'm not initializing any of the property now, just adding the bean in the bean configuration file. Then I can create a object by using @auto wire without initializing. How I created the object previously by using new followed by the class name, and then I provide if class as a constructor, I can provide the value for the constructor. But now just I created the object with the help of auto wire. So then I can deploy the project, run on server. So once it is deployed, you can get output like this. Now you can try to call the URL faculty. Same result you can get. So previously the object is created by using the new operator. It is tightly coupled. But now the object is created without using the new operator. I just use the annotation @auto wire. Then I created object by using the class name and object name. So like this, I created an object. So both gives the same result. Still, the properties are not yet initialized. So next, I'm going to initialize the property of the class faculty. So how can we initialize the property of the class faculty? Using the setter methods. Already we generated setter, getter, and setter for the data members ID, name, and designation. So these are the primitive data members. Non-primitive data members means object of the class or object of the Java collections that are all called as non-primitive data members. These are the primitive data member, int, string, float, double, whatever it is. So I have three data members, ID, name, and designation. For that, I generated getter and setters. So now I'm going to set value for these properties by using the set methods in bean configuration class. So we can go to the configuration class spring servlet.xml. There we can initialize the members. So inside the bean tag, we can use the property tag. So I already mentioned in the introduction how the setter dependency injection injects the dependency via setter methods with the help of auto wired, and along with the property is set by using the tag property. So now I'm using this tag property to set the value for the data members. So here I given the tag property and a name for which data member you want to assign the value. So there are three data members in my faculty class. What are the three data member? ID, name, and designation. First, I'm going to set value to ID. So that I providing the property name is ID. Then value is another attribute we can use. Value equal to faculty ID. So let me provide my faculty ID. Then I can set value for another property. Property name equal to name. So these are the things I can taken from the class. ID, name, and designation. There are three properties in this class. So that I'm going to set value for these three data members in the bean configuration file using a property tag. First I given value 5848 for ID. Next I'm going to give value for the second property name, value equal to the name of the faculty. Then third property is designation. This is the property name, designation, and the value for that property is, and the value for the property designation. So like this, we can initialize the property of a class using the tag property in bin configuration file. Once this was done, you can save the configuration file, then start deployment. Once project deployment is done, then we can see the output. So let me proceed with the URL faculty. So it returns the object of the faculty class. I can able to see the values, ID, name, designation, everything. Okay, so ID is 5848 and the name of the faculty and the designation was what I initialized using the bean configuration file. So like this, we can implement setter dependency injection. So I will repeat what I done now. So I implemented setter dependency injection. That's why I created a file faculty. In that I created three properties, generated getter and setters. By using the set method, I'm going to set value to the data members of a particular class. There are three data members in this class, ID, name, and designation. In bean configuration file, I given the configuration like this by using a tag bean. So the tag bean is created and ID is assigned as ID1. Assigning the ID is also your choice. This particular bean is created for the class KLU.faculty because faculty class is available in the package KLU. So we need to provide the complete path here. Then with the help of property tag, we can initialize. So, so after creating the bean, we can use the property tags. So how many properties I have in the class faculty? Three properties I'm having, ID, name, and designation. So now I'm setting the value for these three property tags. So, okay, some network issues. Okay, fine. So after initializing the properties, then we can start deployment and we can check the values of the members of the faculty class. So I can able to see the values of members of the faculty class. What is the value I assigned using the bean tag in bean configuration file, faculty ID, name, and designation. So then we can start implementing another class by using constructor dependency injection. For constructor, understanding the concept of constructor dependency injection, we can create another class in the same package KLU, so that I'm creating another class in the name student. So now I created a class student. In this class, I'm going to create some data members. Int ID of the student, string name of the student, and string department of the student. So three members I created: ID, name, and department. So this is the class I'm going to show how to implement the constructor dependency injection, so that I'm not generating getter and setters. I'm not going to use setter methods to set value to the data members. So let us create a class, create a constructor. What is the class name? Student is the class name. So there is a rule while creating a constructor: class name and constructor name must be same. So you can create a constructor student with the three parameters. One is ID and name, and another one department. So constructor is created with the three parameters. Now I'm going to assign value to the data members. This dot ID equal to the parameter variable ID, and the value can be assigned to the data member name. This dot name equal to from parameter name, and this dot department equal to from parameter department. So here constructor is implemented with the three parameters. By using this constructor, we're going to set value to the members of the class. And also I'm generating toString so that we can able to see the values of this particular object. Generating a toString, just right click on the file name student. Then you can use the option source, generate toString, and make sure all the data members are selected. Then click on generate. So add a toString method so that we can able to print the object directly. We can return the object directly in the form of string. So it will give the details about the data members and the value available in the data members. So just I created a class student. That class I'm going to implement the second type of dependency injection, constructor dependency injection. So that I created a constructor with the three parameters: ID, name, and department. By using these three parameters of the constructor, I'm initializing the property of the student: ID, name, and department. Then this is just a toString method to able to send the object directly in the output. So once this is done, you can save. Go to the file appcontroller.java. How we created object for faculty, like that we can create object for student by using @autowire, create object for student. I just name the object as yes. Once object is created, then you can once object is created, then you can start creating a new service to return the object. So then create a new service @get mapping, and set the URL to call this particular service. And add the annotation so that we can send a string to the response body. So created a service with the name student. Just I'm returning the object of student class. So already I created object for the class student. The object name is yes. Just I'm returning the object yes by using the toString method. Then we can try to deploy and check what is the value returns by the object yes. So after deployment, I can get my output like this. So it gives an error. The reason is the class student having a constructor. So while creating a object, the values must be passed to the constructor. But here we just create the object yes. Still the values not yet passed to the constructor. That's why we can able to get this error. To avoid this, we need to implement the constructor dependency injection. For implementing a constructor dependency injection, you can go to the configuration file spring-servlet.xml, create another bean, create a bean and set ID. I just given the ID as ID2. This particular bean is created for the class KLU.student. Once the bean is created, the error will be resolved. So later we can initialize by using the constructor. So just I created a tag bean and assigned the ID as ID2. That bean is created for the class student, which is available in the package KU. So now I'm going to deploy my project, run as run on server and choose Tomcat server and wait for the result. Mm. So, so then still the error is not at resolved. So once the bean is created, then we can use the tag which I already given in the introduction. So what is the tag we need to use while implementing a constructor dependency injection? That is constructor -arg. This is the tag we can use in the bean configuration file while setting value to the properties of a particular class using constructor dependency injection method. So that I'm going to use the bean configuration file with the tag constructor argument. So here we can pass value equal to what is my first property in the class student. The first property is ID, second property is name, third one is department. In same order, I created a parameters ID, name, and department. So now here I'm going to uh, set values. Here I'm going to set value for ID first. So ID of the student. This is the ID of the student. Next, we can set value for the name. So value equal to name of the student and then department and then department. In these three parameters, that means three properties. First property ID declared as an integer. Remaining two name and department is declared as a string. If it is a string, no need to mention the data type while setting value by using a constructor argument. Suppose it is not a string. By default, all the values are treated as a string. If it is not a string, we need to provide the type. Type equal to int. So first one is ID of the student declared as an integer so that we need to provide the type of the value. So it is an integer value. So we need to provide type equal to int. Why I didn't mention the type for name and department, it is declared as a string. By default, all the things will be treated as a string. So no need to mention it. So once this is done, we can start deploying. So now without error, I can able to get. So this is the output screen. So there is no error in my code now. So I can able to call the particular service. What is the first service I created? Is the URL faculty that we already tested. It returns the object of faculty class with the value which is configured in the bean configuration file. Now we need to test the another service which we created recently in appcontroller.java. What is the service URL I given? Student. So if you want, you can go through the appcontroller.java. What is the URL you given for to call this particular service? Slash student I given. So what this service will return? Object of yes. So I can return this object of yes so that I can provide the URL for testing slash student. Then enter. It will return object of the student. So now we can able to see the values on the properties of the class student. So the student class having a three property: ID, name, and department. So this is the value I given by using constructor dependency injection in the configuration file. I hope you understand the difference between setter dependency injection and constructor dependency injection. First file created faculty for setter dependency injection. Using set methods, the values are initialized by using a bean configuration file with the help of property tag. But second, another class, the class name is student. Another class is created. The class name is student. What is the data members we have in that class? ID, name, and department. So the data members are initialized by using construct. So data members are initialized by using constructor dependency injection. So that I created a constructor for the class student. There I given parameters ID, name, and department. Values to this parameter passed using the bean configuration file by using the tag uh, constructor argument. So and the values are initialized to ID, name, and department. So look at the configuration file. This is for setter dependency injection, and this is for constructor dependency injection. Now you can able to understand the difference between these two methods of dependency injection. Next, I want to include non-primitive data types. So these are the primitive data types: ID, name, and designation. And non-primitive data types are there. That is, we can create object for a class or Java collections. So let me create object for the class and demonstrate how to configure the bean file for non-primitive data types. So that I'm creating a new Java class in the package KLU. Create a new Java class. I just name the class as DAO. Then finish. Now the class is added, DAO.java. So here I'm creating object for the class faculty. I'm using non-primitive data types. Object for the class faculty and also object for the class student. So here I'm going to implement those two methods of uh, performing dependency injection: setter dependency injection and constructor dependency injection. So that first I'm going to create a constructor. Public, what is the class name? DAO is the class name. It takes parameter, object of either faculty or student, any of the parameter. One object I'm going to use for constructor dependency injection. One object I'm going to use setter dependency injection. So let me take faculty for constructor dependency injection. So I created a parameter with the object of class faculty. Then the particular object F can be initialized. This dot F is initialized by using the parameter object F. So constructor is created and the object of the faculty is initialized. Next, the student class object also I created. That I'm going to initialize by using setter method. So that I'm creating a setter method. Set value for the object yes. So that I can give method name as set yes. So I'm going to set value for the object yes. So return type is void and take object of the class student. Then initialize this dot s using the parameter object s. This is constructor type of initialization. This is assigning value using set method. Then generate getters toString method so that we can able to see the result in the browser. So right click on the file DAO, generate toString, and make sure the two parameters, two data members are selected. There are two data members in the class. One is F and another one is S. So those two are selected so that we can able to see the value of F and S by using toString. So now we can test how it works. So let me go to app controller.java. I'm creating another service by using @get mapping. Here I can give the path to access the newly created class DAO. I just give the URL name as DAO. Then I want to see the result in the browser so that I'm adding @response value. Then I'm creating a method to return a string. So this method will return a string. Let me create object for DAO. So here I'm creating an object for the newly created class DAO. I just name the object as DAO in small letter. So just like that I created. Later we will see what the error it throws. Then we can fine tune the code. Then return the object of DAO by call the method toString. Now let us see what it returns. Then we can fine tune the code. So once object is created for the newly created class DAO and the service also added in the app controller.java, then we can start deployment. So right click on the project name. You can start deployment, run as run on server. So now I can able to see the URL in the browser. This is the root URL. So then I can test my first service, faculty. It returns faculty data, no doubt on that. Second service is student. It returns student data, no doubt on that. Third service I created. What is the service name I given? DAO/DAO. So let me try to call. I can get a error. The reason is the third service try to return the object of DAO class. So what is the error I can get in the class KLU DAO? It try to call the toString function, but the object of DAO is null. Object is created, but not at injects it not at injected. So object is created, but still it not at injected. So we must inject it. How can we inject the object? By using dependency injection. So let me show how to inject the object in the bean configuration file. So you can return to your code, go to the bean configuration, spring servlet.xml. Otherwise, we can inject the object as like faculty and student by using the annotation @autowire. Let us see by providing auto void here, whether we will get error or it will give the object. So without doing any configuration in bean file, I just created an object for the newly added class DAO and with the annotation at the rate auto void. Previously, without this annotation, I tested. Now I'm going to deploy my project after adding the annotation at the rate auto void. So now it throws error. So directly it throws error. The reason is at the rate auto void is given, but the bean not yet configured. So we need to configure the bean. So let us configure the bean. Go to the configuration file spring servlet.xml. Here we can add the bean tag for the newly created class bean. Let us assign the id equal to id3. This bean is created for the class. What is the class name? KLU.DAO. We need to provide the complete path of the class. DAO is the class available in the package KLU. So after adding the tag bean, once again you can deploy your project and check whether you got any error or not. So after adding this tag and also have at the rate annotation for the object DAO, now I'm going to deploy my project. Right click run as run on server. So now I deploying the project. I'm not getting any error. Let me show the window. I'm not getting any error. So previously I got an error because of at the rate of auto void is added while creating object, but bean not yet created. So now bean also created so that we get a result without any error. So let us test one by one. Faculty is working well and student is returning object of a student. Then third one, DAO. It returns object of a DAO class. What are the things available in DAO class? There are two objects. One is F and another one is S. So F means, oh, so one is F and another one is S. So what is F and what is S? F is the object of faculty class and S is the object of student class. I can able to see the value of a faculty class. The faculty class is also having data members, three data members. What are the three data members? ID, name, and designation. So I can able to see the value for the object F. But for the object S, it is null. So what is the reason for getting null for the object S? Let us go through the code. So here bean is created so that it is eligible for auto wire. So, but what is the implementation available in DAO class? In DAO class, two objects are created. One is for faculty and another one is for student. By using a constructor dependency injection method, I'm initializing the object S so that I can able to see the value for the object F. Faculty ID, faculty name, faculty designation, I can able to see it in the output. But student value of object S is assigned by using a set method, not using a constructor. Constructor means by default at the time of object creation, it gets invoked. So it forces us to set value for the constructor. That is the difference between constructor dependency injection and setter dependency injection. But setter, we can set value later. After creating an object, we can set value. That's why S doesn't have any value. So now how to configure this? Already I told very beginning. Here I mentioned while implementing setter dependency injection for the primitive data type, there is no issues. That's why we can able to see the values of the properties just before for the student classes. But now we are dealing with non-primitive data types. The DO class having a non-primitive data types F and S. F is initialized by using constructor so that we can get a result. But S is a value set to the S by using a set method. In such case, I mentioned to configure sector dependency injection by using the tag auto-wired @auto-wired along with the setter method, and property is set by using the property tag. So as of now, we completed the setting the value for the properties, but the auto-wired annotation not yet used while setting value to the non-primitive data member. That's why we cannot able to see any value for the object yes. So now I'm going to use the annotation properly. Where the set method is created, there we can use the annotation @auto-wired. If you use the annotation @auto-wired along with the set method, then you can able to get value for yes also. So after adding the annotation @auto-wired in the DOO class, where you are trying to implement setter dependency injection for the object yes, then you can start deploying run on server. Then you can start deployment and check your result. So now I can able to get my output without any errors. Let me check one by one. Faculty with the data is there. And second service is student. That is also returns students object well. And the third service is DAO. So previously, the result of DAO returns F object of S with the value of ID, name and designation. But yes, we can get only null value. Now we can able to see the value for the data members of student class also. Now S is the object having the value ID, name and department. So how we can get this value now? Why? Because we are adding the annotation. We added the annotation properly in the set method. So here I added the annotation @auto-wired. So like this, we can implement dependency injections in two methods using set method or constructor. I hope you understand the difference between setter dependency injection and constructor dependency injection. So this is a small example to demonstrate and understand how to configure Spring MVC using XML configuration. And also I try to implement a class faculty to demonstrate initialize the properties using set methods. To initialize the property using set methods, I created a bean and the members are initialized by using the property tag. Next, I created another Java class student to demonstrate CDI, that is constructor dependency injection. So class student I created with the 3 data members and one constructor. I'm using this constructor to set value for the data members ID, name and department. Then in app controller, I just created object for faculty and student by using auto-wired. The same two classes are properly configured in the bean configuration file. These are the two beans I created for class faculty and student. Here I'm using setter method to initialize the properties. Here I'm using constructor to initialize the properties. Then in app controller, objects are created for faculty and yes. Two get mapping methods I created to return the object of yes, F and yes. And then we tested how the values are initialized. Then I try to focus on non-primitive data members, how to use the bean configuration and how to use constructor dependency injection and the setter dependency injection for non-primitive data members. Here I created object for F and S in DAO class. Then by using a constructor, I initialized the object F so that while trying to display the value of the object DAO, we can able to see the value of the members of faculty. But I'm using a set method to set value for S. Without auto-wired, first I tested. I cannot get any value for the object S. I can get only null. After adding the annotation at the rate auto wired along with the set method, I can able to get the value of the data members of S. So this is the way to implement dependency injection. Let me stop here. We will wind up this session now. So next session. Thank you.